Potentially Ward, Beavers, Kent and Butler in defence, Norburn and Taylor central, Burrows, Smodics and Dembele with Clark Harris up top. Fulham unchanged from their demolition job.
Right, hi everyone. Sorry about all of that madness right at the beginning. I've just had some technical issues with cameras not working and smart I don't know what you call it really, the Alexa kicking off and starting to play without me asking it to. It's been an absolute madness, if I'm honest. But anyway, we're here now and I'm looking forward to this afternoon's action, and I hope you are too. So without further ado, let's get on with it. And yes, here I am, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks very much for coming into Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're going to enjoy this afternoon's show. We're going to be covering the 3 o'clock kickoffs today. So there's been a massive match already in the Premier League, and we'll have a quick chat about that in a minute. But first of all, I just want to say I hope that you're all well and in good health and having a great day wherever you are in the world. And if you're watching this on playback, thanks very much for watching it. And please remember to put a like on the video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. And please remember to share the video around with as many different people as you possibly can. And, put your comments in about what you thought about this afternoon's games. I've got a message here. Hold on. We're on to be made an NBA. That's the old school gunner just sending me a quick message. Anyway, so yeah, he might come on. The old school gunner might be joining us in the second half. So that'd be pretty cool. If he can make it. But yeah, so like I say, thanks very much for coming and to Warren's Team Talk. If you don't know already, my name is Warren. And yeah, today we're going to be covering the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. And as I said, there's already been a game today in the Premier League. It was a 12:30 kickoff, and Manchester United lost yet again at home by 2-0 to Manchester City. So, it's not looking good for Ollie, is it? It really isn't. So let's have a look at the details of the match. This is the BBC website I'm going to show you. Here it is, and the goals came from an own goal from Manchester United's Bailey and Manchester City's Bernardo Silva, just on the stroke of half time, and there was an assist from Cancelo. So let's look. Well, the pressure is certainly mounting, that's for sure. Let's look at the that is. Let's have a look at the match stats for this game, and the match stats say that Manchester City had a massive whopping 68% possession. Manchester City had 16 shots, and they managed to get 5 shots on target, whereas United only had 5 shots and 1 on target. City got 9 corners against United's 1. And yeah, I think that really tells you all you really need to know, really, doesn't it? So it looks like United got absolutely battered, to be quite honest. So yeah, not good. Let's have a quick look at the lineups. So United went for a 3-5-2. De Gea was in goal. Then they went with a back three of Bailey, Lindelof, and Maguire. And then the midfield five consisted of Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, who those two, I guess, were wing backs. And then Bruno Fernandes, McTominay, and Fred. And then up front, they went with Greenwood and Cristiano Ronaldo. And then the bench, they had Martial, Rashford, Lingard, Dalcott, Sancho, Henderson, Telles, Matic, and Van der Beek. And United made 4 substitutions. Jordan Sancho came on at half-time for Bailey. Van der Beek came on in the 80th minute for Fred. Telles came on in the 73rd minute for Shaw. And Rashford came on in the 67th minute for Greenwood. And Ronnie picked up a yellow card. So, yeah, there you go. Now, City, they went with a 4-3-3. Ederson was in goal. A back four of Walker, Stones, Ruben Diaz, and Cancelo. And then a midfield three of De Bruyne, Rodri, and Gundogan. And then this was supplemented by another forward midfield three of Gabriel Jesus, Bernardo Silva, and Foden. So again, they went with this tactic of playing a false nine. City got awarded yellow cards to Cancelo and Bernardo Silva, but they never made any substitutions, and the attendance was over 73,000. So I'd imagine that the City faithful were absolutely livid about that. So there you go. There you have it, people. And we've got some chats. And it's James Dunlop, and he says, "Hi, Warren. Hope you're well. Manchester Derby was nothing more than a training session earlier." Yeah, I was listening to it on the radio, mate, and it sounded like that. I was trying to watch it on the stream, but it just kept freezing all the time, so I got fed up with it and decided to listen to it on TalkSport. Not that I like TalkSport. I find them really annoying, but still, never mind. Tony Blackwell's here, and he's saying, "Afternoon, Warren." Hi, Tony. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Good win for the Hammers on Thursday. Good point for the Hammers on Thursday. So that's you qualified now, isn't it, for the next round, I think. And Tony says, "Afternoon, James." And James Dunlop says, "We'll pay the greeting to Tony," and says, "Afternoon." Tony Blackwell says City were in control for virtually all of the game. That's what I heard. And Trevor Sinclair, one of your ex-players, Tony, he was absolutely purring about City's performance. He was lapping it up. James Dunlop says United can forget top six if they stick with Ole, which is likely. I think they will stick with him, mate. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I saw a clip, I think it was on Instagram, of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, sorry, Gary Neville walking down the road with, who was it he was walking down the road with? Jamie Carragher. And they were doing like an Instagram live chat, and there was all these people coming in the chat, United fans, saying Ole out. And he was losing the plot. He's going, "Don't you come in here telling me Ole out. He's a club legend. United aren't going to get rid of him. You just need to accept it." Which I thought was hilarious. Tony Blackwell, that's the thing, James. If they got rid of him, who would they bring in? You don't think that they bring David Moyes back, do you, by any chance, Tony? I think they had the opportunity to get Conte, but they've blown that, haven't they? Obviously. James Dunlop says the fans want Zidane, from what I've heard, Tony, now that Conte is at Tottenham. Big mistake. United and Arsenal could have got Conte, I think, if they'd wanted to. But they've allowed him to walk in at Tottenham, and I'm fearful about what he's going to do there. The man's record is just unbelievable. He's got the Midas touch, simple as. So let's see what happens. Tony Blackwell says that would be an interesting appointment. What would be but would he be the man to get United to turn things around? Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think he's purring at West Ham, but is West Ham a really good fit for him? You know, sometimes players work really well at a certain club, maybe, and I think possibly it's like that with managers as well. So maybe West Ham's the perfect fit for Moisey. I really don't know. And Tony Blackwell says, yeah, we did well to come back in that game against Genk. We've qualified, just need to win the next game to finish top of the group. Yeah, it'd be good if you can finish top of the group, because it means that you won't have to play a team that's dropped down from the Champions League in the next round. That would be a big advantage, really, because I think there might be some big hitters coming down out of the Champions League this season. Looks like one of them might be Barcelona, but I'd back you to beat Barcelona at the moment. They're dreadful. Tony Blackwell says, laugh out loud, imagine Moyes going back to United, mate. I just don't think he would. I just think he'd tell him to stuff it. I really do. I don't think he'd go back there. Yeah, I think they've had their chance with him and they blew it. So, yeah, that's that. So, on to today's games. And I think I'm right in saying there's only three o'clock kickoffs. So what I'm going to probably try and do is also try and keep an eye on what's going on in some of the championship games and the FA Cup, because it's FA Cup first round day today as well. So let's have a look at the matches that are kicking off today at 3 o'clock. We got Brentford against Norwich, Chelsea against Burnley, and Crystal Palace against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League. And then Tony Blackwell says, loving the cat roar and looks great on. Yeah, man. I just thought the reason I've got it on is because I've got no heating. I got up this morning and there's a problem with my boiler. I don't know what's going on. So the engineer's coming out tomorrow to try and repair it. So hopefully they can get it sorted out. I'm just trying to keep warm, basically. So that's why I've got the hat on. James Dunlop says, FA Cup first round on today. Watched Sudbury versus Colchester last night. Yeah, I was talking to my mate, Mick, the guy who's in our Warren's Team Talk prediction game, the one that you're 1 point ahead of at the moment. And years and years ago, we went to Sudbury Town. I know I keep going on about all these different grounds that I've been to, but I did go to this. Right, we went to watch Sudbury Town play against Tunbridge Angels, which is Tunbridge Angels is very close to where I live. And we were there, and obviously, you probably worked out, Mick's a massive Norwich City fan. And we went there, and there was loads of Ipswich fans at the game, like people supporting Ipswich. And at half time, because it was a 3 o'clock kickoff, I don't know why Tunbridge were playing Sudbury. I think it might have been an FA Trophy match or something like that, or like a Southern League Cup match or something. I don't know. But anyway, the story is, like, At half-time, they were reading out the half-time scores, and Ipswich Town were losing. So my mate started cheering, and a couple of other people in the amongst the Tunbridge support did as well, because Tunbridge, believe it or not, are one of the biggest supported clubs in non-league football. They regularly are able to attract crowds, particularly when they're doing well as well. They are able to attract crowds of upwards of 600-700 supporters. It's mad. It's honestly, mate, it's absolutely mad. So, yeah, we were there, and he started cheering when he had the score that Ipswich were losing at half time, and we were getting the filthiest looks, mate, from these Sudbury fans. They were not happy at all about the fact that he was cheering that Ipswich were losing. It was absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, there you go. Just a funny story about Sudbury Town. I thought you'd enjoy that. So what did you think about the Sudbury Colchester game last night, James? Because I heard Perry Groves talking about it on the radio, and he seemed quite excited about it. But from what I've heard, Sudbury actually absolutely got ripped apart, I think, by Colchester. So really, Warren. James says, really, Warren, I bet he'll get a warm reception at Portman Road if Norwich and Ipswich play each other again, laugh out loud. Mate, I went to Portman Road with him. Jesus Christ. I never knew that their derby was so hostile. It really is. It's real hardcore, right? Because I had this spell where I wanted to go and watch loads of different derbies and whatnot. And I went with him to see Norwich play Ipswich at Portman Road. We were walking down the road and we had to get a police escort, and the abuse we were getting as we were going down the road, it was just unbelievable. And then when we got inside the ground, Norwich lost the game 5-0. And every time they scored, they were bloody jumping on the Ipswich fans, where they were jumping on the pitch and like jumping up and down like they'd won the Champions League or something like that. It was a madness. And then to top it all, on the way home, we were driving home and we stopped at a service station somewhere, and we were getting some food or something. And as we were coming out, there's this Ipswich fan behind us in the queue, and he saw us, and he just said to us, I hope you crash your car and die. I just turned around to him and said, why don't you just F off, mate? I just thought it was pathetic. What a stupid, ridiculous thing to say. James Dunlop says Sudbury tried their hardest, but Colchester were too good on them last night. Yeah, because Sudbury, I think they're in the 8th tier of English football, aren't they? So, yeah. So let's have a look at some of the team lineups for this afternoon's 3 o'clock kickoffs. So let's get the. What am I doing? Sorry, I pressed the invite button there. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's have a look. Right, let's have a look at the Crystal Palace Wolves match. So Crystal Palace against Wolves. The games have kicked off, by the way, and there's 4 minutes gone in the Brentford Norwich game, 2 minutes gone in the Chelsea Burnley game, and nothing about Palace and Wolves. So anyway, Palace Wolves, the team news. Yeah, it's just asking us to pick. Right, here we go. So let's have a look. So here we go. There's the Palace lineup. Now, looks like they're going for a 4-3-3, if the BBC are to be believed. And the goalkeeper is Guaita, or I butchered that name probably. A back four of Ward, Anderson, Guahea, Mitchell, and then Gallagher, Coyote, and MacArthur in midfield. And then up front, they've gone with Zaha, Benteke, and Edouard. So that's quite an interesting lineup, I think. Then the subs bench, they've got Butland, Milijovic, Tompkins, Olalise, Aya, Schlupp, Klein, Kelly, and Riedewald. And then Wolves have gone for a 3-4-2-1 formation. And they've gone with Sarr in goal, a back three of Kilman, Cody, and Saiz, and then a midfield four of Nelson Semedo, Neves, Hal Moutinho, and Ait Nouri, and then a forward three of Machado, Trinarjo, and Juan He-Cham behind Jimenez up front on his own. So there you go. That's the Watford 11, and their subs bench is However, Podence, Malden, Bolly, Fabio Silva, Ruddy, Denoka, Traore, and Kundal. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's the Watford, Crystal Palace and Wolves lineups. Let's have a look at some of the other ones as well. Oh, there's some chats here. Let's look. James Dunlop says, in the Championship, Sheffield United are 1-0 up at Blackburn. Wow, that's a big score. Norwich are 1-0 up at Brentford. Wow. Fair play to Norwich. Norman with the goal. So what we need to do, guys, we need to do our normal and... So, yeah, thanks very much for that, James. Let's go and pull that one up. So, yeah, so Norwich are 1-0 up after 6 minutes. Goal scored, as James says, by Norman. Thank you very much for keeping us all up to date, James, with that, whilst I was faffing about with the lineups for the Wolves Palace game. So yeah, so for Norwich, look, they're well on top as well. They've had 61% possession, and both teams have had a shot on goal, but Norwich are the only ones who managed to get their shot on target. And Norwich have had a corner as well. So, yeah, it's looking good there for Norwich. So the Brentford lineup is Fernandes in goal, Jorgensen, Janssen, and Pinnock as a defensive a back three. And then a midfield five of Canos, Jensen, Norgard, Janelt, and Henry. I guess that Canos and Henry are wing backs. And then up front, they've got Malbueno and Ivan Toney. And their subs bench is Thompson, Good, Force, Godos, Onyeka, Bidstrup, Roeslev, Stevens and Cox. And then Norwich have gone for a 4-5-1. Crawley in goal. Aaron's on Amoba middle. Gibson and Williams as the back four. And then Dowell, Norman, Lees Mullo, McLean and Rashika. And Pookie up front on his own. And then they've got a subs bench of Rupp, Gilmore, Placheta, Soles, Sorensen, Sargent, Gunn, Guignalius, and Idar. I'm just curious, that Gunn chap, is he any relation to the Gunn who used to play for Everton as a goalkeeper years ago? I'm just curious if anyone knows. Can you put it in the chat? That would be really cool to find that out. Yeah, so let's go and look at the final game. So let's stop sharing that one. And let's share. Let's share the screen for Chelsea and Burnley. So here we go, guys. Right, so 11 minutes gone at Stamford Bridge, and it's still Chelsea 0, Burnley 0. And match stats, unsurprisingly, Chelsea have had 71% possession. There's been no shots on goal. 6 shots on goal from Chelsea, none from Burnley. 2 shots on target from Chelsea and none from Burnley. And Chelsea have won 4 corners. So, yeah, there you go. And then the lineups. Chelsea have gone for a 3-4-2-1. Mendy is in goal. A back three of Christensen, Thiago Silva and Rudiger. And then a midfield 4 of James, Kante, Jorginho and Chilwell. And I guess James and Chilwell obviously are wing backs. And then Hudson-Odoi and Barkley are employed just behind Kai Havertz as in a line striking role. Their substitutes bench is Ariza Balaga, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, Chalobah, Saul, Mount, Ziyech, Azpilicueta and Sarr. And then Burnley have gone for the tried and the trusted, my favourite, the 4-4-2. They've got Pope in goal, a back 4 of Loughton, Tchaikovsky, me and Taylor, and then a midfield 4 of Goodmanson, Westwood, Brownhill and McNeil. And then up front, they've gone with Cornet and Wood. And then their subs bench is Cork, Barnes, Hennessy, Roberts, Rodriguez, Collins, Pieters, Vidra and Long. So there you go. We're up to date, everyone. What does everyone think is going to happen in these games this afternoon? That'd be pretty cool to find out. You know, to hear what you think about what's going to happen this afternoon. So let's minimize that. And let me just update this. I won't be a sec, people. So there you go. So the scores are up to date as well. So that's great. And spoken word poetry, Jamie Hill says bonjour. Hi, dude. How do, Jamie? Hope you're well, mate. Nice to see you. Bonjour to you as well. James Dunlop says, hi, Jamie. And Spoken Word Poetry, Jamie Hill says, hello, everyone. Yeah, nice to see you, Jamie. Thank you very much for coming in. And thank you as well to James and also to Tony Blackwell. And Tony says, how are we doing, Jamie? Yeah, so let's have a look at the other. Brentford 2, Norwich 1. Wow, let's check that out. Let's see what's going on. My word, the goals definitely are flying in. So let me just refresh that. Jamie, where did you see that it's 2-1 to Brentford? On the BBC website, they're saying it's still 1-0 to Norwich. So, I don't know, man. Where did you see it? I'd like to know. That'd be pretty interesting to see what's going on. But if it stays like that, it will mean that Norwich will climb off the bottom of the table and Newcastle will be bottom of the table. And Norwich will be 3 points behind Burnley. So, yeah, it's they're doing all right at the moment. Norwich, big shock there for them to be 1-0 up at Brentford. I hope this is not a sign of things to come for our predictions in the for the Warren's Team Talk Predictions League, guys. I really do, because I could have another woeful performance this week. But let's check on some of the other games up and down the country, see what's going on. So where? Oh, well, here we are. So stop sharing that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to share. Let's look at that one. Right, people. So there we go. Brentford are 1-0 down at home to Norwich. Chelsea are drawing 0-0 with Burnley. Palace are drawing 0-0 with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Brighton and Newcastle are playing at 5:30 this afternoon. And apparently Eddie Howe is in the stands at Brighton to watch Newcastle. What does everyone think about Eddie Howe taking over at Newcastle? Do you think that's a good appointment for them? Do you think he'll get them out of trouble? Because I have to say, I'm not convinced, to be quite honest. But anyway, Spoken Word Poetry, Jamie Hill says, good, thanks, Tony. Spoken Word Poetry, Jamie Hill. Jamie, you're a wind-up merchant, man. Chelsea 1, Burnley 2. And on here, it's saying it's still 0-0, the BBC website, mate. Let me just see if I can refresh the page, though. Let me see if I can refresh the page and see if it does anything. Yeah, no. Where are you getting these scores from, Jamie? It's hilarious, man. And James Dunlop says it's still 1-0 Norwich 1. Jamie's just giving... Oh, right. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I thought you were like having a game with us. Sorry, buddy. I'm really, really, really sorry. So, yeah, thanks very much for that. Crystal Palace 3, New Wolves 2. yeah, that would be. Looks like it could be a really exciting game if that happens. It's my predictions. Thank you, Jamie Hill. I am really sorry, buddy. I really am. You spoken word poetry. Jamie Hill says you're right, James. Tony Blackwell says the Banstas are back tonight, apparently. Oh, yes, lovely, jubbly. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be lapping that up. And James Dunlop says, not sure about Eddie Howe at Newcastle. His team concedes a lot of goals, and Newcastle in the position they are in. Yeah, man, I just think they need someone who's got a proven track record of getting teams out of trouble. That's why I think they should be looking at Big Sam. I know he's been there before, but his record is second to none for getting teams out of trouble. It really is. Well, that's my opinion. I'm sure the Geordies won't be too pleased to think that Big Sam could be going in there. But needs must, isn't it? You need... if you're in that situation, you need to get someone in who knows how to get a team out of trouble. And last year, when we were languishing down in 15th and 16th, I was calling for Big Sam. I wanted him. I really did. Because I knew that if he was given the right backing and the right time, he'd get us out of it. Spoken word poetry, Jamie Hill. Eddie Howe could be a good appointment. They have time to try. Yeah, it could be. If it works, he'll have him playing really good football. He's very good tactically. I saw a YouTube video where he was talking about how he sets the team up, and he had this big table with all these little counters on it. And he was showing how he'd set the team up in a game against Chelsea. And his tactical knowledge was just off the scale. It really was. I was really, really impressed with him. And I thought it was great. I really did. And Tony Blackwell says, think it boils down to what players he brings in. He's at a club with money, James, which he didn't have at Bournemouth. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I've heard talk that Granit Xhaka is on their Newcastle shopping list. Please, let that be true. Please. And also they're looking at Alex Lacazette as well. And I think he would be a really good signing for Newcastle. Just seen it on YouTube, lads. The lads are back at 6:30. Get your facts out ready for Terry Warren. Laugh out loud. Mate, I'm going to get my little surprise ready for him. I really am. It's going to be wild, mate. You just wait and see what happens tonight. If he's on the channel, I'm going to... Yeah, let's just say it's going to be entertaining. James Dunlop says, possibly Tony. We'll see what happens. And spoken word poetry, Jamie Hill says, Warren for the Newcastle job, mate. Mate, if I get the Newcastle job, right, I will take all you lot with me as to be my assistants. I can just imagine us bloody four all sat in the bloody dugout. Can you imagine me with my flat cap and all the rest of it? Oh my God. Because years ago, I used to know Graham Carr. Remember the guy who was manager at Norwich and they got over 100 points in one season? And I got to know him when he was managing Maidstone United. And he used to get really wound up by things. I remember that. I remember after a friendly game down at Ashford, he came out after the game and he was furious. And I said to him, Graham, what's wrong? What's happened? And he goes, that bloody chairman, he's he's penny pinching again. I don't think he really understands. If he wants his bloody club to do well in the 4th division, then he needs to go and spend some fucking money. It was hilarious. But he was a top man. His football was a bit questionable, but he was a real top bloke. I really liked him. Tony Blackwell says they need to be more regular. The Bansta seem to have more kickstarts than a larder. That's quality. You need to come out with that tonight, Tony, when the stream's on. You need to say, you lot need to be more regular. You seem to have more kickstarts than a larder. That's absolutely top-notch stuff. Right. So, anyway, back to the matter in hand. Let's have a look, see what's going on. So, in Scotland, Hearts are beating Dundee United 1-0. The other 2 games are stalemates at 0-0. El Salvador lost at home to Bolivia in an international friendly. I guess that game was played in the early hours of this morning. In the Championship, Blackburn Rovers, as James said, are losing 1-0 at home to Sheffield United. Cardiff City are losing 1-0 to Huddersfield Town at home. Coventry are drawing 0-0 with Bristol City, as are Luton and Stoke, Millwall and Derby, Nottingham Forest and Preston North End, Peterborough United and Fulham, and West Brom and Middlesbrough. Now, that Millwall Derby game, that reminds me of something that happened. I went with a couple of my mates to watch an England-Holland game at Wembley Stadium, and we got to Baker Street, and it was just kicking off all over the place. There was a massive scrap between Arsenal and Millwall against Derby and Leeds. It was absolute pandemonium. There were beer cans flying through the air, and blokes like rolling down the escalators in the tube station. There were women screaming, and it was just absolute madness. And Derby and Millwall, as from what I can remember, they couldn't stand each other, and they were going at each other like God knows what. It was just unbelievable. So yeah, that was my memory of Millwall and Derby going. And the problem was that this game, all in the press, I put this down, the blame for this at the door of the press, because all week in the press, they were going on about all these Dutch hooligans that were going to come over to England and cause loads of trouble. And you could have predicted what was going to happen, because all that did was it just brought out all the hooligans, all the top hooligans from all the clubs all around the country got drawn out, and they couldn't find any Dutch fans to fight with, so they started fighting amongst themselves. It was absolute madness. So yeah, and James Dunlop says, "Laugh out loud, Tony." Yeah, that comment was hilarious. And Tony Blackwell says, "Penalty for Norwich." Oh my goodness. Let's go and check that out, guys. So let's get the Norwich. Let's get the Norwich game up at Brentford. Oh, sorry, guys. And here we go. Yeah, it says penalty to Norwich. And it's a goal. There we go. And Brentford are 2-0 down now. So it's time. There you go. They're 2-0 down. My word. It looks like the wheels might be coming off for Brentford. So yeah, they're 2-0 down at home to Norwich City. So yeah, there you have it. And the penalty was scored by Timo Pukki on the 29th minute. The great escape is well and truly on, the BBC is saying. Timu Puku steps up for the penalty and sends goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez the wrong way. Now, it says the Canaries are in dreamland. Now, this, for me, we're gonna see now, if they lose this game today, Brentford, but especially because we got an international break after this set of fixtures today, this weekend rather, it's going to show what Brentford are made of and what that manager of theirs is made of, because they've had a really good start to the season, but it looks like things are possibly going a bit wrong now for them. They lost at home. They lost at home to Leicester. They're now losing at home to Norwich. They lost at home to Chelsea as well. So they've had quite a few defeats in recent weeks. So, you know, it's all going a bit mad, really, isn't it? So there you go. So James Dunlop says, bloody hell, what's happening to Brentford? Yeah, man, it's all going a bit nuts, isn't it? 2-0 Norwich, Tony says, Tony Blackwell. Brentford going through a bad patch, says James. Brentford going through a bad patch, James, says Tony Blackwell. James Dunlop says, they are, Tony. It was bound to happen. Did not expect Norwich to be winning today, though. No, neither did I. But if you look back to last season in the Championship, Norwich ended up finishing the season 10 points ahead of Brentford in the Championship. So, you know, maybe they've just suddenly found their form. So there you go. Tony Blackwell saying it's all kicked off at Swansea at the Bournemouth Swansea game. Everyone's involved. Oh my God. Totally agree, James, though this was nailed on for Brentford. Tony Blackwell says, in the local derby, Yate Town being thumped 3-0 by Yeovil. Yeah, Yeovil. I've had some dealings with Yeovil in the past as well. Bloody hell. Their supporters are a bloody nightmare. They're in non-league football, they're known as a bit of a handful. I remember once they came to Tunbridge and Tunbridge played them in an FA Cup match. They took an early 2-goal lead. Tunbridge pulled one back, and then there was loads of trouble because Tunbridge were putting them under loads of pressure. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Yeovil fans have this reputation of not being able to handle defeat. So, but I don't think any supporters particularly like losing, do they? Let's be honest. And there's a goal at Chelsea. Chelsea are 1-0 up thanks to a goal from Kai Havertz. And the goals are all starting to fly in now. They certainly are. So there you go. Kai Havertz in the 32nd minute. It sounds like Chelsea have been peppering Burnley's goal there. So So let's have a look at the scores again. Brentford 0, Norwich 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, and Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. So there you go. There you have it. And look at that. Norwich City have now scored twice in a Premier League match for the first time since December 2019, when they scored twice against Spurs. This ends a 28-game run in which they failed to score more than once in the top flight. Double. There you go. See? Excellent stuff. So let's update the scores. So stop the screen and get it to share. And there we go. There's the scores so far. Brentford 0, Norwich 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, and Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. So let me just go around the other games and see what's going on. So it's Barnsley 0, Hull City 1 in the Championship. It's Barnsley 0, Hull City 1. Blackburn Rovers 0, Sheffield United 1. Bournemouth 1, Swansea 0. Cardiff 0, Huddersfield Town 1. Coventry Town. What am I talking about? Coventry City 0, Bristol City 0. Luton Town 0, Stoke City 1. Millwall 0, Derby 0. Nottingham Forest 1, Preston North End 0. Peterborough United 0, Fulham 0. West Bromwich Albion 0, Middlesbrough 0, and Birmingham City 1, Reading 0. And Aston Villa women have lost 1-0 at home to Chelsea women. And then in the FA Cup, Doncaster have beaten Scunthorpe United 1-0 at Scunthorpe's ground. Gillingham are drawing 1-0 with Cheltenham. And in the other FA Cup first round games, it's AFC Wimbledon 0, Guiseley 0, Boreham Wood 0, Eastleigh 0, Bradford City 1, Exeter 0, Carlisle United 0, Horsham 0, Charlton 0, Havant and Waterlooville 0, Chelsfield 2, Southend United 1, Crawley Town 0, Tranmere 0, Crewe Alexandra 0, Swindon 1, Halifax Town 3, Maidenhead United 2. So that sounds like it's been quite an exciting game. Fleetwood Town 1, Burton Albion 1, Gateshead 0, Altrincham 0, Harrogate Town 0, Wrexham 0, and as is Hartlepool and Wycombe Wanderers, Hayes and Yeading and Sutton United. Ipswich are 1-0 up over Oldham. And then Kidderminster Harriers 0, Grimsby Town 0, and Kingsley Town 0, Walsall 1, Leyton Orient 1, Ebbsfleet United 0, Lincoln City 0, Bowers and Pitsea 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1, Stevenage 0, Morecambe 0, Newport County 0, Northampton 2, Cambridge United 1, Port Vale 1, Accrington Stanley 0, Portsmouth 1, Harrow Borough 0, Rotherham United 0, Bromley 0, Sunderland 0, Mansfield Town 1, Wigan Athletic 0, Solihull Moors 0, Yate Town 0, Yeovil Town 3, and York City 0, Buxton 0. Sorry. There you go, Tony. It's now Yate Town 0, Yeovil Town 3. So there you go. So yeah, it's all very exciting there. And there's more chats here. Spoken word poetry. Jamie Hill says, "Yeah, I forgot that it's like a championship match, and Norwich were better. Yeah, they were last year. They finished 10 points ahead of Brentford, apparently." James Dunlop saying Chelsea still going strong. Yeah, they look a bit relentless, to be honest, don't they? They just seem to, no matter what happens, they always seem to get the results. Tony Blackwell says, "What do you think about Jeff Stelling calling it a day with Sky Sports?" Is that right? Has he resigned? Blimey. Is he retired or what's happened? And sad to hear he's leaving, Tony, but he's in his 60s. My mate wants to apply for the job, and my response was, "No, that's my job." Laugh out loud. Yeah, get in there, James. Go and do the job, mate. And if you manage to interview Edu or Arteta, make sure you put it on them, mate. Tony Blackwell says, "Laugh out loud, James. Keep telling you, mate. There's a show with me and you nailed on. Laugh out loud. That would be amazing." Yes, Tranmere have scored at Crawley. Get in, says James Dunlop. Are you from Birkenhead, James? Because that's Tranmere country, isn't it? Birkenhead. Laugh out loud, Tony. Maybe Warren should go for the Soccer Saturday job. Isn't he supposed to be interviewing Josh Kroenke today as well? Jeff Stelling. Did you see the interview he did with Edu? And he really put him through the mire. Mate, I'd love to do that Soccer Saturday job. It would just be absolutely wild, especially if Helen Chamberlain was there as well. Tony Blackwell says, "Yeah, 100%, James." Yeah, so let's see what's going on. What's happening here? What's going on around about the place? So what? So on the BBC website, it says The Postman, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. What's that all about? God knows what that's about. Anyway, they've got an update from Palace and Wolves. A poor challenge by Mark Guaya on Nelson Semedo earns the Palace man a yellow card and gives Wolves a free kick just outside the box. In it comes, and Raul Jimenez heads it straight into the arms of Vincent Guaita. That's Wolves' first attempt on target, and that's after 40-odd minutes. That's not good, is it? So it sounds like Palace are in control in that game, but they're just not been able to find the finishing touch yet. James says, "I'm from the Wirral." Yes, Warren. Yeah, my great uncle was from there. That's why I was wondering. I remember him and my dad used to have massive tear-ups about Arsenal and Liverpool. Like the pair of them used to go fight like cat and dog about it. It was hilarious. That must be a game to be watching. Halifax 4, Maidenhead 2. Yeah, and it's not even bloody half time yet. Jesus. Spoken word poetry. Yeah, thanks for that, Tony. That sounds like it really is an exciting game. And like I say, it's not even half time yet. Spoken word poetry, Jamie Hill says, I like to send the Cronkies to Tottenham and see them relegated. Yeah, man, that would be hilarious. Bring it on, that's what I say. James, you going to the game tomorrow? Says Tony Blackwell. Yeah, that'd be interesting. What do you think's going to happen tomorrow, James, in that game? James Dunlop says he's leaving at the end of the season. He never mentioned retiring, but rumours say because of the departures of Matt Letizia, Phil Thompson and Charlie Nicholas, he thinks it's time to move on. Yeah, I think it caused a lot of anger, because I know that Charlie Nicholas was really upset about it. About the way, they were just all like dispatched, and Phil Thompson was on there as well, wasn't he? So, I used to like that show, and that's what gave me the idea for doing this. I wanted to try and recreate that, and that's still what I want to do with this. It would just be absolutely wild if we could have 3 guys all watching a different, like 3, 4, 5 guys all watching a different game, and then suddenly someone shouting out, "Go!" and then having to go over to see what was going on. I am, Tony. I could do with a laugh tomorrow. Do you think it's going to get really peaked, James? That's what I heard. Tony Blackwell says that's what I heard, James. I think there's some truth in that. And Tony Blackwell, it's 4-3 Halifax Maidenhead. My God, what? That sounds wild. And James Dunlop says, I think Paul Merson might go as well, Tony. Tony Blackwell says, laugh out loud, James. You may be the first to get a result out of Conte. Yeah, that would be interesting to see what happens, man. Because it's Everton Spurs, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see how you do. I think it'll be a draw myself, but James Dunlop says still not confident tomorrow, but we'll see. James, do you think Spurs are going to get the new manager bounce? Because I think that the problem at Tottenham, it wasn't Nuno. I think it was Daniel Levy. Because of his constant lying and like ducking and diving all the time and shady dealings and all the rest of it. And I think Harry Kane's just pissed off with him. I think he feels that he's been lied to. And I think that he thinks, well, if you're going to lie to me, then I ain't going to play. Simple as. Tony Blackwell says, yeah, Paul Merson may do. Paul Merson is an absolute star, mate. I'm telling you. I'd love him to come on the Claude and the Bansta channel. That would just be wild. I'd love to see him having a debate with Kevin Campbell, because I think he'd destroy him. I really do. I think Merce would absolutely rip him to shreds. And James Dunlop says, for tomorrow, yes, I think they will run, but they'll be up and down all season. I think so too, mate, because I don't think that Tottenham team were all that, if I'm completely honest. And I think he's going to have a rough ride of it until January. And if Levy don't give him what he wants in the January transfer window, you watch. By March, he would have gone. James Dunlop says, yes, get Merson on the Banstas, laugh out loud. Can you imagine him with Terry? He would absolutely destroy Terry. He really would. It'd be hilarious. Right, let's go back round the games. So it's still Brentford 0, Norwich 2, and it's half-time there. Chelsea have beaten Burnley 1-0 at half-time, and they're still playing in the Palace Wolves game, but they're into the 3rd minute of injury time. Hold on, let me get that window shared. Sorry, guys. I keep forgetting to share the window. Right, so here you go. So Brentford are 2-0 up again, losing 2-0 to Norwich at half-time. Chelsea are 1-0 up against Burnley, and Palace and Wolves are still playing the first half, but then to the 3rd minute of injury time, and it's still 0-0. Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 0, and they're in the 1st minute of injury time at the end of the first half. Hearts are 2-1 up against Dundee at half-time. And in the other game in the Scottish Premiership, it's St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 0 at half-time. And then in the Championship, it's Barnsley 0, Hull City 1. Blackburn Rovers 1, Sheffield United 1. Bournemouth 1, Swansea City 0. Cardiff City 0, Huddersfield Town 1. Coventry 0, Bristol City 1. Luton Town 0, Stoke City 1. Millwall 1, Derby 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Preston North End 0. Peterborough United 0, Fulham 0. West Bromwich Albion 0, Middlesbrough 1. And finally, Birmingham City 1, Reading 0. And in the FA Cup matches, the pick of the ties there, Chesterfield are 2-1 up against Southend. Charlton are drawing 0-0 at home with Havant and Waterlooville. That's terrible. That's really bad for Charlton if it stays like that. Halifax are 4-3 up on Maidenhead at half-time. Jeez, what a game that must be. Fleetwood are drawing 1-1 with Burton Albion. Harrogate are losing 1-0 at home to Wrexham. Hartlepool are 1-0 up against Wycombe Wanderers at half-time. There we go. Northampton are 2-1 up against Cambridge. Rotherham United are 2-0 up at home to Bromley, another club that's just up the road from me. Sunderland are losing 1-0 at home to Mansfield Town. And look at that, Yate Town 0, Yeovil 3 in the FA Cup. So, yeah, it looks like Yeovil were doing well in their first round FA Cup match. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, let's look at some of these chats. And James Dunlop says half-time in the 3 Premier League games. Yeah. And as we said, it's Brentford are losing 2-0 at home to Norwich. Chelsea are 1-0 up against Burnley. And it's 0-0 between Palace and Wolves. So, there you go, guys. And what do you think about... There's a game... hold on, let me get it out. There's a game at 5:30 tonight between Brighton and Newcastle. What's your thoughts about that one? How do you think that one's going to pan out? That would be interesting, particularly because your man's going to be in the crowd at Brighton. You know, the fellow that's likely to be taking over at Newcastle. And James Dunlop says, "Are you confident tomorrow against Watford, Warren?" To a point, yeah, I am. I'm a bit worried about what tactics that Arteta is going to employ, because I'm worried that he's going to put all the attacking players on and he's going to leave us short in midfield again. And the problem is with that I think Claudio Ranieri, as I've said before, is a real wily old fox, and if we're not careful, he could pick us off, and we could end up struggling in that game. I think we'll win. I think we'll win by 2-1, but yeah, I'm worried because I rate Ranieri. I think he's a quality coach, and he knows what he's doing. So I think he'll get Watford away from the relegation zone. So, but yeah, be an interesting one. But I'm worried that Arteta is going to go. He's going to play Saka. He's going to play Smith Rowe. He's going to play Odegaard, and just have Partey to try and how do you say, compete in the midfield for the ball and stuff. And I don't think one player, no matter how good he is, he's going to be able to do that on their own, especially if Watford come and pack out the midfield. Tony Blackwell says, "Think Brighton will win this one." Yeah, mate, I do. I can't see him scoring lots of goals, mind, because they don't normally score many goals. They seem to have a problem scoring goals. But having said that, they did score 2 at Anfield last week, didn't they? And I was quite impressed with them. I thought they could have easily won that game at Anfield. What really impressed me was when I saw Bissouma rampaging through Liverpool's midfield, and then he smashed in a shot that hit the Liverpool post. I'd never really seen him before at that game, and all this talk in the summer about this Yves Bissouma going to Arsenal, and when I saw that, I thought, yeah, man, we need to get that player. He's absolute quality. James Dunlop says, "I think Brighton will just nick it 1-0. Newcastle have to be hard to break down at the back, but they need a result." Yeah, and the last couple of days when this guy has been in temporary charge of them, they seem to be a bit, although they're still conceding goals at an alarming rate, they did seem like they were getting a bit tighter defensively. So you never know. And the thing is, Brighton aren't very prolific goal scorers either, are they? I mean, but like I said, they did get 2 at Anfield, and they could have had more, to be quite honest, and they should have got more against Arsenal a few weeks ago when they played us. And if they'd had a decent striker, I think they would be in the top 2 or 3 in the Premier League. I really do. But they just can't seem to finish their dinner, unfortunately. And Tony Blackwell says, "Arsenal have the confidence right now, but Watford have a way of getting back into a game, and they can do that. Then it could either be a draw or Watford taking the points." I think so, mate, but I think Arsenal will just nick it. But it depends on whether Arteta, I just hope that he doesn't go into the game and start messing about with playing all these attacking players, thinking that it's going to be a routine victory, because I don't think it is. I really don't. I think we're going to have to really scrap for the points. I saw what Watford did to Everton at Goodison Park. Sorry to bring that up again, James, but they did. The last dying embers of that game, Watford scored 3. The game was set at a 2-2 draw, and it looked like it was just going to peter out into a draw, and then they just went goal crazy and scored 3 goals in a handful of minutes, and ended up winning the game 5-2. It was just mad. Yeah. So I'm just going to message the old school gunner, see if he's coming on. Hold on just a sec. Hold on just a sec, mate. Hold on. I won't be a sec, guys. Sorry about this. Right. So, yeah, let's see what the old school gunner says. James Dunlop says, Tony, tomorrow should be a good game between you and Liverpool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that West Ham-Liverpool game. What do you think is going to happen, Tony? And if you're watching this on playback, please put your predictions for all these games in the comments section of the video, and where you think these teams are going to finish in the league and at the end of the season, and who you think the top goal scorers are going to be and all that stuff. That would be interesting to find out. And Taib Hussain. Hi, Taib. How you doing, sir? Hello, Warren. I see grey clouds outside. Laugh out loud. Do you think there'll be grey cloud for Arsenal when they lose to Watford and Liverpool? Mate, don't say that, please. I am worried about that Watford game, because I think Mikel is I think he's going to play the wrong team. I really do. I'm really worried that he's going to go in and he's going to play all the attacking players, and I just think that's going to be a big mistake. I think he needs to play Uncle Albert alongside Thomas Partey. I really do, because I just think he's going to go gun-ho like he did at Burnley and against Brighton. Then we ended up both those games getting overrun in midfield. And the game against Liverpool, I think we're going to get mauled. I really do. I think we're going to get absolutely battered when we play Liverpool. Because I just think they're going to rip us apart. I might be wrong, and I hope I am, but that's what I think is going to happen. But what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the game tomorrow and in the game against Liverpool? Tony Blackwell says, James, it will be a good test for West Ham. It sets out where we currently are against the top team. Think we can give them a game, but we need to be strong defensively, although I think Liverpool wins. I think it will be a good game, and I think you'll give them a real close run. But I have to agree with you. I think Liverpool will just slightly edge it. I think if I remember rightly, I think I predicted that Liverpool would win it by 2-1. So let's see what happens. But yeah, it should be interesting though. And if you win, that really will put the cat amongst the pigeons, as they say. James Dunlop says, I bet you Terry will whip into Conte at Tottenham tonight, Warren. Yeah, I bet he will. And he'll be saying we don't need him and he ain't that good and he ain't gonna do nothing at Tottenham and Arteta's a better coach and all this crap. And this is what Martin Keown was saying the other day on TalkSport. Apparently he turned around and was saying some fan asked him whether he would have kept Arteta or he would have tried to get Conte at Arsenal. And he said, no, I'd stick with... He's turning it around at Arsenal, Mikel Arteta. So I'd have stuck with him. And I was just thinking, oh, God. I just don't believe that he thinks that. I really don't. I just think he's trying to get a job at Arsenal and it's just nuts, in my opinion. And James Dunlop says, you do need to be strong at the back, Tony, 100%. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we will. It'll be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. Tony Blackwell says, laugh out loud, James. As per usual, defending his beloved Arteta. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he's been in the hot tub with him lately. That's what I'm interested to find out. Taib Hussain says, Brentford on 4-game losing streak. Do you reckon they'll get relegated? No. I don't think they'll get relegated. But I think there may have been a bit of a reality check and people may have started to work them out. But who knows? I don't know if they've got some injuries or something like that. It could be any number of reasons. But, yeah, I think, they might be crashing back to reality after such a brilliant start because it has been a brilliant start for them and fair play to them. Tony Blackwell says, ha, James, I'm just wondering what nickname he gives Conte. Yeah, exactly. And Deck or something like that. The only thing Arteta's turned is the bus he keeps parking every game, laugh out loud, says Taib Hussain. That's true, mate. James Dunlop says, laugh out loud, Tony. I'm interested to find out as well. I can't wait. I really can't. I can't wait for that stream tonight. It's going to be wild. So anyone who's watching this now live or is watching it on playback and they get to see it before it happens tonight, go and make sure that you watch this stream tonight on the Claude and the Bansta channel. I think it's at 6:30. The channel's called the Claude and the Bansta's channel. And it's going to be wild because if Terry and Diesel are both on this stream together, it's going to kick off. It really is. Yeah, so here we go. It says the boys are back and it's scheduled for 6:30 tonight. So, yeah, I'll be watching that and I can't wait. So anyone who hasn't, go and subscribe to the Claude and the Bansters channel because it is going to be absolutely wild on there tonight. It really will. And James Dunlop says, Brentford are back in it. 2-1 now. Right. Then there we go. There we have it, people. So obviously the Brentford coach has given the Brentford team a right rollicking at half-time, as they say. And they come out firing. And Taib saying, nice one, James. And Taib is saying, I really want Brentford to win games and stay up. Yeah, I do as well. Be nice to see him stay up. He really would. Sorry, 2-0. Goal got ruled out. VAR. Oh, my days. Well, there you go, mate. So, Tony Blackwell says, big up, Taib. Yeah, it would be good to see Brentford stay in the Prem. Good to see Brentford stay in the Prem. Taib Hussain says, James, thanks for nothing. Oh, well, here we go. Tony Blackwell's put a laughing emoji and Taib into the chat. And James Dunlop says, laugh out loud, Taib. And Taib says, Brentford are one of several teams that are local to me. So do you live near Brentford in West London, mate? Because I used to work in Hammersmith up until a couple of years ago. Yeah, so Shepherd's Bush, mate, there is nowhere in the world like Shepherd's Bush. It's a madhouse of a place. So let's have a look, see what's going on with these games. So there we go. Brentford are still losing 2-0 at home to Norwich. Chelsea are 1-0 up against Burnley. And it's still Palace 0, Wolves 0. So hold on a sec. I'm just going to change this because I want us to be able to see the other one. So hold on just a sec for me. And here we go, people. Well, here we go. Something's happening. And it's an update from the Palace Wolves game. And it says, strong start to the second half by Wolves, who win 3 quick corners. Vincente Guayata clawing away the third one. They are unbeaten in 5 away games and look threatening on the counter. Go, you see, Wolves are doing really well at the moment, aren't they? So, looks pretty exciting stuff, that's for sure. And 4:10, Kai Havertz should have had his second of the game, but somehow managed to scoop his shot over the bar from 6 yards out. So, yeah. And there we have it. There's confirmation of what James was saying. It was you, James, wasn't it? Yeah. The goal that Brentford had scored had been chalked off by the VAR. Brian Webomo's foot is offside as he latches on to Ivan Toney's header. Correct decision, and Norwich maintain their 2-goal advantage. There you go. So VAR got itself involved at Brentford there and stopped Brentford pulling a goal back. And Taib says, a bus ride away, well, a few buses away. Well, there you go, mate. Chelsea, as it stands, are 5 points clear at the top. Wow, is that right? We'll have a look at the league table in a minute. James Dunlop says Chelsea. No, we've already read that. James Taib says Chelsea will win the league. What do you think? I don't know. I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to win it, to be honest. And but I think any one of those three, Chelsea, Man City, or Liverpool, potentially could win it. And there's been a great save at Brentford. Brentford had a goal ruled out, and now Tim Krul has made an incredible save to deny Christian Norgard from point-blank range. The Brentford midfielder can't believe he hasn't scored. He was wheeling away in celebration. Well, there you go. That just proves that you can't celebrate till the ball hits the back of the onion bag, as they say, doesn't it? There you go. So let's have a look at the league table. Let's stop sharing that one and share the league table. Here we go. So yeah, as it stands, so we can see there, Chelsea are 5 points clear of Manchester City in second, who are on 23 points, and they in turn are 1 point clear of Liverpool in third place on 22 points. But Liverpool have a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, they go back to being 3 points behind Chelsea. West Ham are currently fourth, but if West Ham win it, they will go into third. So that'd be unbelievable if West Ham win tomorrow. United are in fifth with 17 points. And look at that run of form. Their last 5 games, they've lost 3, drawn 1, and won 1. That's terrible. That's basically like near the bottom of the table form. It really is. And then Wolves are 6th in the table on 17 points. They've won 4 and drawn 1 of their last 5. Arsenal are in 7th. Won 3 and drawn 2 of their last 5. Brighton are in 8th. They haven't won a game in 5. They've drawn 4 and lost 1 of their last 5. Tottenham are in 9th. They've only won 2 of their last 5 and having lost the others. Everton are in 10th. And they've lost their last 3 games. So there you go. And in the bottom 3, we've got Burnley at the moment on 7 points as it stands. Norwich are second bottom on 5. And Newcastle are bottom with 4. So there you go, guys. Right, I'm just trying to see where we've got to with these chats. So, Taib says Chelsea will win the league. What do you think? Yeah, we've read that. James Dunlop says it's between them and Liverpool, I think, Taib. And Taib says, I think Liverpool will win it as well. Yeah. It depends, doesn't it, really? Because Chelsea look a bit relentless, to be honest. I was a bit alarmed by Liverpool, the way that they allowed Brighton to create so many chances in that game last weekend, but you never really know. I mean, if they suddenly pick up their form they had around the time that they thrashed United 5-0 at Old Trafford, they're going to take some stopping, that's for sure. James Dunlop says, still not sure with City. Tony Blackwell says, it's Chelsea's season for me, with Liverpool then City in third. I think, Tony, that's a really good shout, but I think West Ham might. If any team is going to disrupt that three, I think it's going to be West Ham. Taib says, I think Arsenal should buy Donny van der Beek and sell Odegaard. Odegaard needs to go to the gym, man. He really does. He needs to bulk up and strengthen himself up, because he just doesn't look like he can cope physically with the demands of the Premier League. James Dunlop saying, imagine Ross Barkley with a Premier League winners medal. Laugh out loud. He was at Everton, wasn't he? Dave says, James, just for sitting on the bench. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Ross Barkley, man. Tony Blackwell's for doing nothing, James. Laugh out loud. What did you think about Ross Barkley, everyone? Do you think he's a decent player? Because I think he was at Everton. I'm pretty sure he was at Everton. And now he finds himself at another big club. So, yeah. And James Dunlop says, laugh out loud, Taib. And James Dunlop says, Chelsea can keep him. I don't want him back. I don't blame you, mate. Taib Hussain says, Tony, sorry, mate, I'm not ignoring you. And Tony Blackwell says, James, would you swap him for Iwobi, though? That's a very good question. That's what I'd like to have the answer to as well. Would you? Would you swap him for Iwobi? Would you? And Tony Blackwell says, no worries, Taib. James Dunlop, Brentford have scored this time. Right, let's go back. Yeah, and there's been a goal at Brentford, and it's been scored by Rico Henry in the 60th minute. Now they do pull one back, says the BBC website. It's poor marking from Norwich as they allow Rico Henry a free run at the far post, and he does well to stick a leg out and convert from a Saman Godos deep cross, knowing he's just going to cop a painful one by colliding with the post. Jesus, that must have hurt. Oh, my God. And Farah Williams is saying Norwich are so vulnerable with their defending this season, even when they have a 2-goal lead. And there's been another goal. Another goal. And where has this one come from? And it's come at Crystal Palace. And Palace have broken the deadlock. It's Palace 1, Wolves 0, and it's been scored by Wilfried Zaha. There you go, guys. So let me just update my little score sheet. Let's do the score sheet, get that up. So there you go. It's currently Brentford 1, Norwich City 2. And it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. And it's Crystal Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. So there you go. That's us up to date with the scores in the Premier League. And Matthew Upson, former England and Arsenal defender, and I think he played at West Ham for a while as well. He's on BBC Radio 5 Live. And great slick football from Chelsea. They've been so composed with the ball. Never panic. Ross Barkley has been the perfect example of that, he says. Then they've worked so hard, press Burnley whenever they can. So there you go. What does everyone think? Do you think that Brentford are going to get themselves back into this game, or do you think Norwich are going to hold on? James, are you sure? Laugh at that this time. Yeah, there's no VAR this time, mate. No, I wouldn't, Tony. Both are exactly the same. Too inconsistent. Tony Blackwell says, I get that, James. And that was the trouble with the Roby at Arsenal as well. You could see him go on these incredible runs and whatnot, but there was never any end product. I'm sure James Dunlop says, I'm sure, Taib, no VAR this time, laugh at that. And FFS James, don't scare me. Ha ha ha, says Taib was saying. And Norwich will be under pressure now, says James Dunlop. Yeah, they will. There's about 15 minutes left to go. 15, 17 minutes, so it's going to be major. Brentford are going to really throw the kitchen sink at them, I bet you. Taib says Brentford will win it 3-2. And Ross Barkley was mismanaged by Roberto Martinez. He believed his own hype. Let's take that out. Yeah, that's better. Taib says Warren loves Iwobi and rates him very highly. Do I? Yeah, great player, mate. We should never have got rid of him. And Taib says, Tony, you reckon West Ham can finish top 4? Good question. What do you think, Tony? Now that Palace, and there goes the alarm, people. Now that Palace has scored, we are 11th. We are slowly going down the table. Laugh out loud, says James Dunlop. Tony Blackwell says, aha, Alan Partridge quoted, yeah. Laugh out loud, James. Hopefully Benitez uses that as part of his pep talk tomorrow. James Dunlop, Vieira has got Palace playing. He has. He's doing really well. They were really, really unlucky against Arsenal, the Emirates, I think, to be honest. To be completely fair. I think they should have won that game. I really do. James Dunlop says, I just hope the whole team turns up and be more like men than cowards, Tony, says James. Taib says the Spanish waiter will eat the Everton players if they put on another poor performance. Laugh out loud. I think he'd do more than eat them, mate. I'm telling you. I think there'll be a few. I think the Undertakers will be busy up by Goodison Park tomorrow if that happens. Tony Blackwell says, and he's been in charge in a shorter period than Arteta and already has a style. Exactly. You know, it's 2 years nearly that Arteta has been in charge at Arsenal. And for me, I'm still waiting to see a style of play and a style of football that I can believe in. And yeah, don't get me started because I'm going to go into a massive rant if I'm not careful. Tony Blackwell says, totally agree, James. They need to. Yes, Taib, if we carry on playing the way we are and keep up that momentum, we can definitely finish in the top 4. We missed out last season with injuries. Tony, do you think that West Ham, do you think they need to strengthen in January and to get some more squad depth, or do you think you're all right to go for the rest of the season? And Taib says, with the squad as it is. And Taib says, Arteta only put style on his hair, laugh out loud. Yeah, Lego head, some people referring to him as. I think that's all he's worried about, Taib says. Tony Blackwell. I think it is too. I think he's really concerned about the way he appears. Taib Hussain says, exactly, Tony. And James Dunlop says, Wolves have a penalty. Right, let's go and check it out, everyone. Let's see what's going on. Penalty to Wolves. Joe Ward on Rayan Al-Nouri, and the referee points to the spot. VAR looking into it. Will it be overturned? And the team news for the Brighton-Newcastle match is that Shelvey and Almiron start for Newcastle. Penalty to Wolves. Here we go. Someone stepping up to take it. No penalty. And VAR have said it's not a penalty, and the free kick is to be awarded outside of the box. So, no, it's not a penalty. But going back to this Newcastle game, Brighton manager Graham Potter makes one change for the side that started the 2-2 draw at Anfield against Liverpool, with Tariq Lamptey replacing Jacob Moder. And the Brighton starting 11 is Sanchez, Veltman, Duffy, Dunk, Cucurella, Lamptey, Lallana, Marsh, Bissouma, Mwepu, and Trossard. The subs bench is still Webster, Malpai, McAllister, Gross, Moder, Locadia, Richards, and Sarmiento. And Newcastle's interim head coach, Graham Jones, makes 3 changes to the side that began the 3-0 defeat to Chelsea. And Javier Manquillo, Ryan Fraser, and Sean Longstaff dropped to the bench as John Joe Shelvey, Jacob Murphy, and Miguel Almiron come in. So the Newcastle starting 11 will be Darlow, Kraft, Lascelles, Clark, Ritchie, Shelvey, St. Maxine, Hayden, Armoron, Murphy and Wilson. So still no start for Willock. I wonder if he's regretting going up to Newcastle. And then the subs are Nebraska, Shah, Joel Linton, Lewis, Manquillo, Fraser, Willock, Gale and Longstaff. So 15 minutes to go and Burnley are still in this and they nearly grab an equaliser. But Jay Rodriguez flicks his header wide at the near post. So it sounds like Chelsea aren't having it all their own way, but they're still 1-0 in the lead. And Taib says Wolves will miss the pen. Yeah, it's not going to be a pen now, though, Taib, but I know I'm a bit behind with the chat, so sorry about that, guys. Tony Blackwell, really, James? Tony Blackwell says 100% Warren. We need a striker for definite and also a centre-back at some point, and at some point a goalkeeper. Do you want Callum Chambers? You can have Callum Chambers or who's that other clown that plays for us? That's centre back. The guy from Bolton. You can have him if you want him. Jesus Christ. I don't even think Bolton would want him. James Dunlop's still waiting for the check. And Halifax are winning 7-4 in the FA Cup. Jesus, that's a madness. That really is a madness. Right, so let's have a look. So, Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0, and VAR, after Wilfried Zaha was initially rolled out and then given after a check, the visitors from the Black Country have a penalty wiped out by VAR. They've got 15 minutes of normal time. And oh my days, look at this, guys. There's been a goal at Stamford Bridge and it's gone to Burnley. Wow, that's massive. That really is massive. And it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, and Matic Vidra has scored in the 79th minute, and Burnley, they've levelled. They've levelled the match. It's 1-1. So there you go. And the VAR check, I'm not quite sure what's happened here. For the second time, VAR is kind to the home team. Joel Ward got away with that. He brought down Nuri while trying to shield the ball. Could it be their day? So it looks like the VAR check has gone in Palace's favour again, and it stays at 1-0 to Palace. Yeah, that's a bit of a turn-up, isn't it? Chelsea drawing at home 1-1 with Burnley. What does everyone think about that? Tony Blackwell says, nice try, Warren. Arvin. Tony Blackwell, James, that's a mad game. Definitely got your money's worth for you that game. There's been another goal. Oh, my God. Over the shop. And Palace have got a second one. It's Palace 2, Wolves 0. Let's see what they're saying about that. They're not really saying anything about it, to be honest, but looks like Gallagher might have scored it. So let's so after 78 minutes, it's Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 0, and the goal scorers are Zaha and Gallagher. Zaha got his goal in the 61st minute, and Gallagher got his on the 78th minute. And there's an assist there by MacArthur on the 61st minute. So, yeah, there you go, people. So, and there's been another goal. Oh, my God, I can't keep up with it. I don't know where this other goals come from, why it keeps saying there's been a goal, because there hasn't, I don't think. Right, no, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't think there's been another goal. So let's go back to the chat and see what's going on there. James Dunlop says 100% Tony, and then Tony Blackwell says can't write off Burnley, such an unpredictable team. James Dunlop says, wow, Burnley on Liverpool level. Sitting Liverpool fans will be happy. Yeah, they will. And the Burnley manager, Sean Dyche, he certainly knows how to drill that team, that's for sure. Just makes you wonder what he would do if he was at a bigger club with more resources. Tony Blackwell says, don't forget us, James. Laugh out loud. It's good news for the Hammers, that's for sure. Laugh out loud. True, Tony. Yeah, you don't write out West Ham. It's not all over. It's not. I think that they can still upset the apple cart with those three clubs. I really do. That's better. Laugh out loud, says Tony Blackwell. Wolves will be livid with the VAR today. Big 3 points looking like for Palace. Yeah, it does. And it's part of me that thinks it's well deserved after all the bad luck they've had recently with losing at Arsenal and drawing against Brighton. But, you know, you've got to hold on and concentrate for the whole game until the final whistle blows. It's a harsh lesson to learn, but it's true. You have to do it. Tony Blackwell says, I'd have had Gallagher in my team. He looks quality, doesn't he? He really does. Imagine he's from Chelsea. They'd him and bloody Billy Gilmore in the same midfield together. It'd be absolutely relentless. Taib was saying West Ham used to have players like Di Canio, Everton used to have Zaha. We don't see these teams have those caliber of players anymore. That's true. And Arsenal used to have David Hillier. David Hillier and Ian Selly. Jesus. Tony Blackwell says, this is true, Traib. Now you have Nketiah and Rashford laugh out loud. And James Dunlop says, I wish we still had Louis Zaha, Taib. He was good for us. Yeah, he was top quality. And you sold him to United, didn't you? And then it just all went wrong for him, if I remember rightly. Laugh out loud, Tony. How many times have... Oh, laugh out loud, Tony. How times have changed. And James Zaha did well for United as well. That's true. He did fairly well, but I don't think he did as well for United as he did for Everton. But yeah, he was for sure. He was a quality player. Let's just update this. So I wonder if Norwich are going to be able to hold on to a victory. Because there's not long left to go. There must be in the last few minutes of the games now. And James Dunlop says, no, we sold into Tottenham, Warren. We bought Zaha from United. Well, there you go. That's where it all went wrong, didn't it? For him going to Tottenham is never a good idea for anyone's career, is it? To be quite honest, we're on West Ham and David Kelly scored for fun for Leicester. Couldn't hit the barn door with us. Tony says, Tony Blackwell. So let's see what's going on at these games for the last few minutes. So looks like Nick Pope's getting a bit of jip. Matthew Upson says Nick Pope taking some stick from the home crowd as he takes a very long drink. He must have been very thirsty. Drying his hands on the towel. Anything else? You can't really blame him though, says Matthew Upson. Yeah, but not good though, is it really? But there you go. I have to say though, if it was me, I'd probably do exactly the same. Brentford losing games. I think the players are too cold to play laugh out loud. Yeah, it's probably because it's been raining. That's probably what it is. Well, that's what Ty would say anyway. So it's injury time at the Chelsea-Burnley game. 4 minutes have added on. Can Chelsea... What's he talking about? Can Chelsea find a late leveler? It's 1-0, isn't it? They mean a late winner. Surely. Muppets. Let's press the refresh button. Brentford losing game. Yeah, like I said, if it was Ty, he'd probably put it down to the fact it's been raining. Anyone remember that? When Ty put the fact that Arsenal had lost a home game against some team or other down to the fact that it had been raining. Guy's a nutter. Absolute nutter. Here we go. So Palace 2, Wolves 0. What a mess. Jeffrey Schlupp lays it on the plate for Wilfred Zaha to put the match beyond Wolves, but it's a horrible miss kick in front of goal. Palace should be out of sight. So it looks like Wolves' recent good run of form is coming to an end. Brentford and Norwich are in the first minute of injury time. Chelsea and Burnley are into the second minute of injury time there. And it's in the 88th minute at Palace and Wolves. What's going on here? And there's a corner to Chelsea. They're 14th of the game. And the game stood at 1-1. It's been a big 2 points drop for Chelsea if they don't manage to get a late winner in this game. I can't believe that, says Matthew Upson. I can't believe that. I can't believe Jay Rodriguez has not gone for goal. Commit Thiago Silva. You're quick. He might make a tackle, bring you down in the box. I can't believe he's not gone for goal in that situation. That was a huge moment for Burnley. And Tony Blackwell says, well done to Burnley. Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic point for them today if it stays like this. And it looks like it probably will do. And it's a close run thing there at Stamford Bridge. That would have been a real smash and grab. Goal scorer Matija Vajra latches onto a through ball, but lost his shot wide of Edouard Mendy's goal. So there you go. They nearly snatched it in the last minute. And apparently Tony Blackwell's reporting that Yeovil are 5-0 up against Yate Town. Well, we know who's going to have the bragging rights down in the West Country then, don't we? Jesus. 5-0. They certainly put Yate Town in their place by the sounds of it. Tony Blackwell says, how did that Halifax game turn out? Let's go and have a look. Let's stop sharing that. And just having a bit of trouble finding it, mate. Hold on. Yeah, so the Halifax game ended Halifax Town 7, Maidenhead 4. There you go. Bloody hell, that must have been an absolute madness. Port Vale beat Accrington Stanley 4-1. Charlton finally won 4-0 against Havant. Well, 4-0 up against Havant and Waterlooville. I can't see Havant and Waterlooville scoring 5 in the last few minutes. Chesterfield won 3-1 against Southend. Swindon won 3-0 away at Crewe Alexander. Rotherham won 3-0 against Bromley. So there you go. Yeah, so the Halifax Maidenhead game is still going on. It's 7-4 to Halifax at present. James Dunlop says, full-time, what a point for Burnley. Yeah, Sean Dice will be well happy with that. Tony Backwell says, yes, it's ended. Yeah, it's ended up like it, James. And Tony Blackwell says, Parker's get Bournemouth playing well. 4-0 against Swansea. Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? So does that mean Newcastle will go bottom as now? Let's have a look at the league table. So let's have a look at the league table. Right, so here we go. So Newcastle are currently bottom. Burnley, Norwich are second bottom with 5 points. Burnley are third bottom with 8. Leeds fourth bottom with 10. Then it goes to Watford on 10. Villa are down into 15th with 10. Then the top of the table, Chelsea are on 26 points. Just do something here. Yeah, they're 3 points clear of Manchester City in second place. And Manchester City are 1 point clear of Liverpool. And West Ham are on 20 points in fourth place, 6 points behind Chelsea. But if they win tomorrow against Liverpool, they will jump into second place equal with Manchester City. Manchester United and Arsenal are 5th and 6th respectively, both on 17 points. If Arsenal win tomorrow, if they win by 4, they could, and West Ham, if West Ham lose and Arsenal win, then Arsenal could jump into 4th, but I can't see that happening. James Dunlop says, yes, they will, Tony. So let's stop sharing that and get the live scores up, because let's see what's going on with these games. So it's finished at Brentford. Brentford 1, Norwich 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, and it's still being played at Crystal Palace, and they're into the 6th minute of injury time. Jesus. We're going to have a late finish at Selhurst Park. Players been held up for a few minutes due to an injury to Joachim Andersen. It looks like he's going to be okay. Yeah, I hope he's all right. That doesn't sound very good, does it? If it's been held up for that length of time. Poor fella. Tony Blackwell says, imagine that, James, the richest club on the planet getting relegated. Laugh out loud. God, can you imagine if they went down? Bloody hell. I know, Tony, it would be bloody mental. Laugh out loud. It would be bloody mental, James. You're absolutely right. And do you think they'd come back up? You know, because, we've seen this thing before, like Man City went down, Wolves went down, and they went right down through the leagues and then come back up from the 4th and work their way back up again. I don't know, man. I think they would, just because all the informal structures would be in place and the foundations, as Terry would say, would be in place. Tony Blackwell says, Warren, Arsenal would have to score 10 goals as we have better goal difference. Nice try. Cool, you're testing me today. Sorry, mate. I did try. I wondered if you'd spot that one. Oh, my goodness. And Tony Blackwell says, take care, James. See you soon. Thank you very much for coming in, Tony. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'm looking forward to seeing you later in the Claude and the Bansters chat. That's going to be wild, mate. So, yeah, all the games are finished. It's Manchester United 0, Manchester City 2. No, sorry, they haven't all finished. So, earlier today, Manchester United lost 2-0 at home to Manchester City, and a game that was far more comfortable victory than the scoreline suggests for Man City. And it's finished now. It's Brentford 1, Norwich 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, and Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 0. So there you have it, guys. That's the final league table as of the end of play after the 3 o'clock kickoffs. And as you can see, Norwich have moved above Newcastle in the relegation zone in the Premier League, and they're 3 points now behind Burnley. And Brentford have slipped down to 14th in the table. And yeah, they've on a bit of a poor run of form as of late, so they need to address that fairly quickly. And Chelsea are now just 3 points ahead of Man City and 4 ahead of Liverpool, and West Ham are in 4th. So there you go. Tony Blackwell says, Warren, great stream again. Thank you very much, Tony. I really appreciate that. And Tony Blackwell says, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you later on the Bansters. Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be wild. And look out, because I've got a special surprise for Terry. Anyway, take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I want to give a big shout out to Tony Blackwell, James Dunlop, and Taib, and just checking, make sure that I haven't missed anyone. I think that's it, guys, actually. I'm just double checking. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. But yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to the Claude and the Bansters channel. Anyone who's watching this that I can't see in the chat. And make sure you tune in tonight for that Claude and Bansters stream in just under hour and a half, actually. It's going to be wild. Make sure you subscribe to all those other channels I always talk about. The Old School Gunner, Arsenal Alex, DrawnByDre, and the 3 Pointers TV. Excellent YouTube channels, and you'll be doing yourself a massive favour if you subscribe to them. So, yeah, make sure you do that. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I look forward to chatting to you all again soon. It's been great. I've really, really enjoyed it. So thank you very much for a great afternoon's entertainment. And yeah, take care, everyone. Make sure you look after yourselves, and make sure you share some love and friendship around the world. And also, yeah, me bigging up all these other channels. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already. And make sure that you put a like on the video, and make sure you share it around for me. Thanks ever so much, guys. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye for now.